Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. In today's video, we're going to be talking about shipping as a small business owner. Now, I know that this is such a gray area when it comes to selling. You might have a new product and have no clue what to charge your customer, so you end up guessing and maybe you lose money, and I don't want that to happen to you anymore. So I'm definitely no expert when it comes to shipping, but I have been selling online for about 6-7 years, and I've sold around 15,000 products. So I've learned a lot, but like I said, there's still probably so much more to learn, but I want to share my tips and tricks with you all today to help you as best I can. So I have a couple of different scenarios here today. We're going to take you from packaging your product, weighing and measuring, popping that into the computer, and figuring out how much to charge for your products. So you might have your own website, or you might have your own Etsy shop, or both. So regardless, these tips will help you to accurately calculate your shipping cost, at least to the best that you can, and be able to stop wasting money, because I know that in the past, I've definitely done that throughout the years. I might have plugged in a number wrong and ended up eating the cost of shipping. So if you do these methods that we're going to talk about today, it'll at least help you to prevent that from happening in the future. So let's go ahead and get on into this video, and I will show you some of the scenarios that we got here. All right, so what do we have here? So we have something with a basic poly mailer, such as a vinyl decal or maybe stickers, or something that's very lightweight. So I'm going to show you this scenario. Along with that, we have a coffee mug in just a regular brown box. And then we also have a wooden sign that is a little bit larger in dimension. These are not actual products that I'm going to be shipping out. I just kind of like wrapped it really quickly to just kind of give you this scenario. But those are the three that we have and the three different options. And we're going to weigh them, we are going to measure them, and we are going to, like I said, plug them into the computer and get accurate cost. And I'll let you know how to figure out a good range to be able to charge your customer. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is, of course, take your product and do a mock package. So what that basically is you're going to create a product such as a vinyl decal, a mug, or wood sign, or whatever you make or sell. You are going to fully package it up. Now, one tip, if I can give you any tips at all with this, make sure that you get the item packaged pretty much as small as you can. Because when it comes to shipping, a lot of things can be charged by dimensional weight. So a lot of these shipping companies might charge by dimensional weight, which is basically length, width, and height, rather than just weight. So keep that in mind. So get it as small as possible. For example, this mug, I wanted to make sure that I had it in a box that was pretty close to the size of the mug. Now, stuff small doesn't really matter as much as larger items, such as wood signs. I have some signs that I ship up to 48 inches wide, so I have to make sure I get that as small as possible right at the end of the sign. So just make sure you do that. So wrapping it safely, securely, putting a lot of things like filler inside of it, which is what I did for this coffee mug. As you can see, it is packed in bubble wrap, as well as it has filler around that, as well as filler on the top. For stuff like vinyl decals, so anything in a poly mailer like this, you are going to want to make sure that you put something like a packing peanut inside of it. I know, a packing peanut, crazy. I used to get questions all the time on, Sally, why do you have a packing peanut in your package? And the reason why is because these can sometimes be upgraded to priority mail packaging. In the US, that's basically an upgraded shipping charge, which usually is around $8, $9. So your customer will either be charged this extra package pricing, or you're going to be charged that extra package pricing if it doesn't have a thickness of at least, I think it's a 1/4 inch. I could be wrong, but I think it's a 1/4 inch. So this packing peanut gives it that 1/4 inch thick to not qualify as either letter or priority. You want it to be just like this to be able to get the most accurate shipping prices you can. So you want that little packing peanut in there. If you haven't seen my video where I package up vinyl decals, this is how I do it. I use cardstock in it, as well as, this is not a real vinyl decal, but I put vinyl in it. And, you know, just thank you stuff and whatnot. So you want to literally package it up exactly as if you would ship it to a customer. This is just a package label that is unprinted. I just have it on here to kind of help with our weight a little bit. So that's all there really is to something like this with a poly mailer. Super easy, but then you might be upgrading. You want to sell products that maybe have a little bit of weight to them, a little bit of bulk to them. Like I said, the coffee mug. So stuff like this, get it as small as you can. Be able to package stuff like glass very well. You don't want anything shaking around in here. So once I have all of this taped together, my item's not gonna move. If I shook it or threw it across the room, which let's not do that, but if I did that, it would be safe. So that is safe and secure. Okay, so now we have our wood sign. So this would be bubble wrapped as well as brown paper wrapped, or maybe you want to put it in a box of your own. So in these situations, it can be different depending on what signs or what large item that you have. Do the same thing. You want to package it well and you want to get it as small as possible. Certain things you can kind of alter the dimensions a little bit before you ship your order out. So if I know that I have a sign that maybe varies in height depending on their last name, I will make sure that I go and figure out where they're from. So if they are across the US from me, such as California, I know that I need to make that as small as I possibly can in height so that it will ship at a lower cost for my customer and for me. So that is what I'll do for things like signs. So just be careful when it comes to big items because you might get an unexpected shipping charge that you're not ready for. So now that we've talked a little bit about mock-up packaging, let's talk about what if someone orders 2 items from your shop or even 5 items from your shop, but you do not know how to package them together. Let's say someone ordered a coffee mug and a sign. How the heck am I going to ship these 2 together, right? Something I struggled with, but I have a solution. So let me show you. Okay, so here is your solution. Now, I decided I think I'm gonna actually make a full video on this. So how to use cardboard sheets to make your own boxes. So I'll show you exactly how. I can't include it all in this video today because then it would take up too much time. And maybe you already know how to do that and so you just wouldn't wanna watch that part. But, so our scenario was that someone ordered a wood sign along with a mug. How do we make or find a box that would fit that, but wouldn't cost us way too much to ship? Because yes, we could go to the store and buy a gigantic box and just put those in there and ship it out. But then you run into the problem of dimensional weight where they're charging you by the inches all added up together and it's going to cost you way more than you need to be spending. So in that situation, you're gonna want to find cardboard sheets. So I will show you guys in a video. If it's already created, I'll put it in the cards, but if it's not created yet, stay tuned for that coming soon. All right, so you have your cardboard sheets. Now what do you need? You will need something to measure. You will need a perforator tool. This is from Amazon. Basically what it does is you run this along your cardboard and it will leave little holes in your cardboard and you're able to bend your cardboard and it makes a perfect box. So that's really handy to have, but how do you cut your cardboard? You need a handy dandy cardboard cutter. It is not really made specifically for cardboard. It's made to cut lots of different products. But I'll tell you, using scissors, they're gonna dull up really fast and it's gonna really hurt your hands. This is like my favorite tool. I'm sure you guys have seen me use this in like every single video. So I really like it a lot. It's by Ryobi, which they don't make these at all anymore. I will link some that are extremely comparable down in the description box below from Amazon and they are amazing, work really well. But basically what it does is you just push the button and it moves really fast and it cuts your cardboard. Just have a way to mark a straight line so you're able to cut it, but that's the basics of what you're gonna need to make your own boxes. So then you're gonna need your products. As you can see here, I have something glass along with something wood. Glass and wood, it's not good together. So we're gonna wanna make sure we package this glass up extremely well. So I would wrap this in bubble wrap, put it on the top of my sign, and I would probably do something like tape around so that this doesn't jolt around and move. Then the next thing you're gonna wanna do is measure this box out. Like I said, I can't include the entire DIY here in today's video, but stay tuned for that. So once you've measured out your size, you're able to create a box that fits your items perfectly. So this could go if I had a bunch of different products. I don't have to go out and keep stock of a lot of different size boxes. I can just create my own for a fraction of the cost. So worth it. And then after I have my box created, taped up, I would want to fill it in so that this glass doesn't get broken. And there you go. That is how you ship multiple different products in one. If you have something just like signs, I would, and I've done this lots of times, I just tape each sign up and then I just tape them on top of each other and send them out like that. And that's fine. Then you don't have to make a box. But if it's something that you might have like 2 really weird different sizes, I would do this method for sure. Stay tuned on that video coming soon, but that is how you ship multiple different products. Okay, so now that we have all of our products packaged up, our mock products, we are going to want to figure out the dimensions. So you're going to want something like a shipping scale. Ignore how dirty it is. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but I actually tote this thing around out in the shop. I bring it wherever I'm shipping my orders, and that's the lovely beauty of being able to work from home, is you can kind of package up orders in your kitchen, your dining room, your office, your outside workshop, wherever. So this baby goes around everywhere with me. And the cool thing about it is it has batteries, so you can unplug it, or it has a plug and it can run through the wall. But you're gonna want a shipping scale. Now, I used to not have this for a very long time. I went and utilized a scale that we would like stand on, like a normal person scale, but I wanted to be more accurate. So I got this on Amazon. It is just an Accutech. I will link it down below if they still have it on Amazon, but it has been a great scale. So you'll need a scale, something to write with, and something to measure your product. I usually use a fabric ruler, but it is out in the shop right now, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of needing some kind of way to measure your product. Okay, let's start with our poly mailer. So all that we need here is our exact item. It is finished, it is packaged up. I have everything right inside of its poly mailer. We have our packing peanut in here as well. It is ready to go. So here is a label just to kind of give us that extra weight we might need. So we're gonna first turn on our scale, let it zero out. Okay, now we're gonna just set our poly mailer right on top. So this item is 0 pounds, 0.8 ounces, which means that it is under an ounce. So I will show you in a minute once we get onto the computer how to plug that in. But we're gonna basically take down our paper and we're gonna write down that our poly mailer is 0.8 ounces. So now that we know how much one single vinyl decal would weigh, you might wonder, okay, what if someone orders a bunch of different vinyl decals? What do I do then? Well, I'll show you in a minute how I plug all of that in to just be on the safe side, but you know that one is less than 1 ounce. So if you put a bunch of vinyl in there, which I will go and find, here's 2 more examples. I'm just gonna throw those in there. Put it back on the scale. It's zeroed out. So this is okay, oh, it went up to 1 ounce. So as you can see, 3 vinyl decals here, or 4 vinyl decals, is only 1 ounce. So play around with that a little bit, but I'll show you how to get pretty accurate here on the computer once we get done with this portion. But our singular vinyl decal was 0.8 ounces. So let's go ahead and measure this. Okay, so if our item was fully packaged up just like this, we know that these are 6x9 mailers, but we want to make sure, so let's go ahead and just check. So 9, it's a little bit over 6. It's about 6 1/4. So 6 1/4 is actually would round up to 7. So we have some 9x7 poly mailers. Now the thickness. So we know that this is about 1/4 inch thick, but online they have no way to put anything under 1 inch. So we're gonna go ahead and write 1 inch down for that. So this product right here, one vinyl decal is 0.8 ounces, and it is a 9x7x1 inch poly mailer. So I wrote all those dimensions down. This one is done and ready to go be plugged into the computer. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so now we have our coffee mug. So let's go ahead and see how much it weighs. We have our scale zeroed out, so let's put this on top. I did not tape it up because, like I said, this isn't a real order, but let's see how much it weighs. Okay, so this exact order is gonna be 1 pound, 10.2 ounces. So let's go ahead and write that down. Something very important to note is if it is anything greater than 1 pound, it is automatically goes up to 2 pounds. So even though we put 1 pound, 10 ounces, it's really 2 pounds. So you wanna go ahead and write 2 pounds. Okay, next let's check our dimensions. So we have 9. Next is 6.5, which really goes up to 7. So 9 by 7, 9. So this box is 9 by 7 by 9. So we're gonna go ahead and write that down. And these are all in inches. So 9 by 7 by 9. Okay, so our mug box is finished. Okay, now we have our wood sign. Let's go ahead and weigh it. We have 2 pounds, 7 ounces, so that rounds up to 3 pounds. Now our dimensions. Now remember that length is always going to be your largest side. So we know that this is our length. So this sign is exactly 24. Just remember that if it says 24.25, it automatically goes up to 25. That is how they're going to charge you. So this one is exactly 24 by 7.5, which is really 8. So 24 by 8. Now our thickness. Exactly 1. So 24 by 1 by 8. All right, this one's done. Let's go ahead and head on over to our computer. So when it comes to calculating your shipping cost, you can do a couple different things. You can go to your local post office and you can get them to weigh and measure and calculate the cost for you, but that is a lot of time and a lot of work for you, and you're not really going to get accurate shipping costs because going to the actual post office, they charge you way more than you're going to pay if you buy labels online. So I like to utilize websites like Etsy Labels, Pirate Ship, and Shippo to ship my labels out, and you save a lot of money. So that is kind of how I do my calculations as well. We're going to make a fake package, or we made our fake package, and we're going to pretend like we're creating a label for somewhere that we're not really going to ship. So we're going to find somewhere that is very close to us, such as a state over, and then we're also going to find somewhere that is extremely far away. So for example, for me, I'm in South Carolina, so I'm going to go find somewhere like California, and that is going to give us our margin cost for each product. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that on somewhere like Pirate Ship. So what you're going to want to do is create an account. It is free to do. Doing all of this costs you nothing. So it's good to be able to get you a good rate this way. So let's go up to the top and hit create a single label. So Pirate Ship already knows our address, so where we are shipping from. So we don't have to worry about our from, but what we are gonna do is we're gonna create a fake ship to label. And this is gonna be the place that is close to us. So let's just make a fake name here. We'll just say her name is Rachel S. And her address here, we're gonna type in an address close by. So I'm going to make sure it's not someone's home address, but I'm going to go find a random address in Georgia and I'm going to put it in here. I went online and just found a random store. So I'm just going to put the address in here. Okay, so it auto-filled for us. It has the address here. You can leave all of this blank. We have our name. So now let's scroll down a little bit. Okay, so now it's going to ask you the type of packaging. So let's go ahead and start with our vinyl decal. So I'm going to go and select envelope, padded envelope, poly bag, or box in a bag, because that's what we're shipping. Next, we're going to do our dimensions. So we know that this package is 9 by 7. And usually, sometimes it'll ask you the thickness as well, and we would just put 1 here. And if you don't have an option for an envelope, padded envelope, poly bag, whatever, you can just put package or box. So it doesn't really matter as long as you're putting the dimensions in correctly. That part is not as important. So this just helps them understand a little bit what it is. Okay, so now we have our product weight. Our weight here was 0.8 ounces, which really goes up to 1 ounce. So let's go ahead and put 1 ounce here. Next, it's going to ask you, is this any hazardous, custom forms, or safe package, whatever. We're not going to hit any of that. We are ready to go. So let's now hit get rate. So as you can see here, it's telling you to choose a service. So here we know that first class is the way that we probably need to ship this order. And the reason being is because first class, it includes tracking and insurance, and it is safe. It is way better than shipping letter. You will not get any good tracking that way. So we know we want to do first class packaging, and we know it's going to cost us $3.37 to do that. So that is what we're going to write down. So we know that shipping to Georgia is going to cost us $3.37. So let's go back and we're going to go ahead and figure up our 2 other products being in Georgia, and then we will head to our state far away and calculate those pricing. Our next box was a mug. So we're going to go and select box or packaging, and then we are going to import our package dimensions here. Okay, so we got everything plugged in. Now let's go to get rate. So as you see here, this is going to cost us about $8.02 if we choose priority mail. But let's go ahead and see if we can get it a little bit cheaper. So here, parcel select ground is a little bit longer in transit. As you see here, it says it can take 2 to 8 days to ship, but we know that Georgia is very close to us, so it probably wouldn't take but maybe 2 days. So that's something definitely to keep in mind when you're looking at all of these rates to choose from. Sometimes UPS and FedEx are cheapest, but it depends on how large your product is. But something small like a mug, usually it's going to cost more to go with UPS. So we're just going to scroll down and see all of our options here. So obviously up here, it's going to give you your cheapest. So to me, if I was choosing $8 versus $7.28, I'm probably going to go ahead and choose priority mail just because it's not that much of a difference. So of course, this as well, parcel does not come with insurance. So I'd have to pay for insurance. So it's going to pretty much be the same cost for this state. So we're going to go ahead and select priority mail, and we know that this is going to be our cost for our product. So I'm going to go ahead and write down that $8.02 is how much our mug is going to cost us to ship to Georgia. Okay, let's go back and calculate our last product. So our sign, it is not a box, but it still falls into this category. So we're going to go ahead and keep that the same, and we're going to change our dimensions here. So as you see here, the pricing didn't go up too much. It went from $8.02 for our last package to $8.24 for this size. So that is not bad. And as you see here, it's $7.34 for a little bit more cheaper, but we know that this is best, I'll tell you from experience, large signs, this parcel select will be the cheapest. Out of all of these options, this is a great option for extremely large items. I've used it several times and it is great as long as you pay for insurance. I feel like this is not big enough of a difference to choose that. So we're just going to go ahead and keep priority mail, and we're going to write down that $8.24 is our lowest rate that we will get for the sign. Okay, so I went and found another store in California. So let's go ahead and put that address in here. And everything auto-populates for us. So now we're going to scroll down and enter our packaging just as we did before, but we're going to do it again with the further state. All right, so as you see here, our first class package, it is giving us a rate of $3.86 to ship to California. So I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So it went from $3.37 being the state over from us to $3.86 being the state further. So I went ahead and wrote those both down. So now let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So now we're going to calculate our mug. So here it's letting you know that UPS ground is going to be the best option, but let's go ahead and take a look ourselves. So the parcel select ground is $10.85. Priority would be $12.66. So yet again, it's not much of a difference. If you already have a bunch of packages going one place, sometimes it's best to just choose that same location. So most of the time I ship my items priority and they going through the post office. So if it's only $1 difference, I'm not going to go and choose UPS, for example, because I'll have to make a whole nother trip to UPS. So more times than none, I'll just click what's easiest unless the price difference is dramatic. So for example, if it said that I was going to save like $5, $6, $7, $8, I would of course choose the cheaper option here, but just use whatever works for you in your situation. So you have a couple options to choose from, but in my situation, I'm probably going to go ahead and select priority mail. Now for a mug, that is a lot. So you need to make sure that you're including enough of your cost into your product to be able to cover and be able to pay for this pricing. So $12.66 is a pretty big jump from our $8.02 that it would be closer to us, but this is our margin. So we need to go ahead and write it down, but we're going to go ahead and write that down, and I'll tell you how to calculate the best margin here in a minute. So now we're going to go back and calculate our last step. Okay, so here is our wood sign price. Yet again, it's telling us that UPS ground is the best option, but let's take a look at what else we have here. So we have $12.25, but I want you to take a look here. If we chose priority mail, it's going to cost us $17.74 to ship a 3-pound package to California. That's a big jump from our $8.24 that we had from Georgia. So as you see here, that's a pretty big margin. So something like this, I would probably select some other method. I would probably choose UPS ground because it's a little bit better than this parcel select ground, but this is what I would choose for this price difference. That is worth it to me to drive a little bit, to save a little bit of money and give my customer a better deal. So I'm going to go ahead and write $12.65 is our other option here. So you really just have to think of your specific scenario and see what works best for you. But we know that this is the rate that we're given for the furthest away from us. So before we do anything with these rates that we just got here, we need to do one very important step, and that is to go and see what other sellers and your competitors are doing with their shipping rates. So the reason this is important is because when shoppers are on Etsy or wherever they're shopping, they're going to look and compare. So you need to make sure that you're kind of staying within the range of other sellers, because if you're way off, either they're going to keep scrolling and find somebody else, or you're going to end up losing money if you charge too little. So that's why it's very important to check that out before you do anything at all, and just write down what you notice. If you see that all of the sellers that are selling those products are doing free shipping, you need to figure out a way to calculate this cost that we're about to figure out in a minute into the cost of your product. But if people are charging rates for shipping, then that's something that you need to figure in. So you kind of have to go and stay within the range of these sellers, take notes, write down what prices they're charging for shipping. Are they doing calculated shipping? Are they going and charging a flat rate? Etc. So that's kind of the first step before we get into this next step of looking at our rates. So once we went and calculated all of those rates from the closest state to us to the furthest state from us, that gives us what we call a marginal rate, or what I guess I like to call a marginal rate. So it will be for a poly mailer about $3.37 being the lowest cost from Georgia, all the way up to $3.86 to go to California. So that is for that item. The next item was our mugs. So we know that it would be about $8.02 to go to Georgia and $12.66 to go to California. And then for our sign that was a little bit longer, it was going to be $8.24 being the lower rate to $12.65 being the higher rate. So what that does is it lets us know that is how much we will have to spend to ship that product. After you've calculated this cost, you're going to have to figure out a couple of things. Are you going to charge your customer for shipping? Some people like to use calculated shipping. For example, on Etsy, it has where it calculates it for your customer. I personally do not use that on Etsy because I found that sometimes it can turn buyers away. So what I like to do is come up with a flat rate shipping for my customers. So if it were me and I was looking at these rates, I would probably charge somewhere around the rate of $3.95 for a single vinyl decal. Now, I do have the free shipping guarantee turned on my shop, so if they spend $35, they get free shipping. And it's kind of a win-win for you and your buyer because they get free shipping if they get a couple more items for your shop, and you get to have a couple more sales. So we'll talk a little bit in a minute how to factor in the cost of shipping when they buy multiple products. But let's go ahead and move on to the next scenario. So we know that our mugs can cost us between $8.02 to $12.66. It's kind of a big variation, and sometimes they could be even more broad. So you might be like, oh, what do I do? I probably would factor in a little bit of the cost of that shipping price into my product, and I would charge a flat rate for shipping. I think for my mugs right now, I'm charging $5.50 to ship those, and I include a couple dollars of that as well into the price of the product. Because to me, when I was charging a higher rate for shipping, people were very turned off by that for just a singular mug. So sometimes you have to get a little bit creative with your pricing and figure a little bit of that cost into your product, and then charge a little bit for shipping, and I've never had a complaint so far, and I've always covered my cost for my shipping with these products. Okay, our last scenario was our wood sign. So we had a margin of $8.24 all the way up to $12.65. So for that sign, I always have free shipping for my signs because I have the free shipping over 35 turned on. So with that product, I'm gonna have to factor in the cost of shipping into my product. So I know $12.65 could be a cost that I have. So what I'm going to do is probably add about $13 on to my price of my product. So that is something that you're going to have to figure in. Okay, so now let's talk about some different scenarios. So let's say that let's say that you offer a product that is different for every single person. So I have a wood sign that I sell that is different based off of names. So the dimensions change based off of the height of the name. So examples like that can vary as well. But I do kind of know, after doing it a couple times, I know what my marginal rates are going to be for that product. And like I said earlier, you can kind of sometimes modify your products to be able to fit within a certain rate. I've had before where even 1 inch can jump the price up to like $50 instead of like $20. So keep that in mind when you're creating your products as well, that there might be a rate change, or you might have a certain situation where you're gonna have to charge more for shipping, different things like that. So what I like to do for a scenario like that is go on my computer and make a mock-up sign. I will pretend to package it up, but not necessarily package it up because it hasn't been created. But I know that my packaging is gonna be a little bit more than the dimensions of my sign. So then I go and do exactly what I showed you on the computer, is mocking up a package on the computer and figuring out some different rates. So I had my long sign, I had my short sign. So I know that this is the max width that I might have for this sign, and so on and so forth. It's all kind of a game of plug and play. You have to go and practice before you go and just say a random guess for shipping, because it can vary so much, and there's so many variables. So that's kind of how I do for situations like that. So let's talk about the scenario that a lot of people wonder. What happens if someone orders multiple different products from me? How do I cover my cost for shipping for that? So let's use vinyl decals for an example. I'm charging for shipping for that for one product, but if they spend $35 or more, shipping is free. Well, to me, a small product like that, and something that I can make and more than cover my cost, and they're ordering that many products from me, I am more than happy to cover shipping for that because they were generous enough to buy that many products from me. So to me, this is part of the business. You are going to sometimes cover shipping yourself when your customer spends a certain amount of money. And since that's such a low cost product, we're not losing any money that way. We are making money. So a situation like that, don't worry about it. So sometimes with larger products, you might be concerned that you're not covering your cost. It kind of goes along with the analogy of the vinyl decals, how they're spending more money to get free shipping. Well, my wood signs, they have the cost of shipping included into them. So we have our $13 added onto this product cost. Let's say they ordered a mug on top of that. Shipping is not added into the cost of your mug. You had a couple dollars added into it, but not fully. But those couple dollars that you added into that mug on top of the shipping that you already covered onto this sign, adding a couple of pounds onto this weight is not going to dramatically change the price of your shipping. So you're actually probably going to cover the cost of your shipping because you figured in those in your pricing formula. You figured in that scenario. Like I said with mugs, I charge a flat rate of $5.50, and in my head I add in an extra dollar or two of shipping onto that. So that's going to cover our shipping for our two different products. I know that seems extremely confusing now that I say it out loud. So as long as you're pricing your products accordingly, you're gonna cover your cost of shipping. You just have to make sure to think of all the scenarios and remember that you're a business and these people are spending their money on you and they're buying multiple products from you. It's okay to take a little bit of a discount because they're buying more products from you. It's kind of like one of those marketing costs, right? You're okay to spend a little bit of money of your own because you're making more money, right? You have to spend money to make money. So since they bought a sign from you and a mug from you and maybe a decal from you, you're okay to cover those couple extra dollars in shipping because you sold more. All right, everyone. So we pretty much figured out all the scenarios. We figured out our marginal rates. We figured out what other sellers were doing. So that is how you come up with what you're going to do here. And you got to figure out, are you going to include the cost into your product? Are you going to put a couple dollars into the cost of your product so you can give your customers a lower shipping cost? Or are you going to do a flat rate? There's a lot of different options, but you have to do your research and know what other sellers are doing and be able to know how to cover your cost, or otherwise you're gonna be in a hole and you're gonna lose money. And all of these steps are pretty easy. Once you've been selling for a while, it's pretty easy to guesstimate certain things and be able to figure things out a lot quicker. So I also wanted to mention that I have the Etsy listing class available for the month of April. I still have classes and spots left. They are $30 and it is a 2-hour Zoom call with me. I go over every single thing that comes to how I figure out what products to sell that I know will rank in the algorithm. I talk about SEO. I talk about how to create your Etsy listing from start to finish. So we go over absolutely everything. And like I said, it's live with me on Zoom, and I answer questions, and we just have a really great time. So that is available. I'll link it down in the description box below, but I wanted to mention that that is going on right now for those of you who aren't in the Facebook group and all of that. So I wanted to mention it here. This kind of stuff just scratches the surface of some of the stuff we go over in the class. All right, everyone. So that pretty much wraps it up for today's video. I hope that y'all enjoyed it and got some value out of it. I know that shipping can be a very scary thing when it comes to starting to sell. That is the thing that scared me the most, and I did a lot of mistakes throughout the years. So hopefully my tips helped you today. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see y'all in that next one. Talk to you later. Bye.